Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Leicester City preview. Joining me, as always, is my good friend and colleague, Joe Smith. Joe, United, Leicester, Bailly, Iniacho, Old Trafford, barricades,
yes,
protests, postponement,
yes.
Possibly. Who knows?
Red, blue.
Yes. Manchester, East Midlands.
It's a tale as old as time, isn't it?
Yes, it is, my friend. United hosting Brendan Rodgers' Leicester City. Rodgers' and we go into this game in fine fettle, as they say. If you can see there, we've got the last 5 games for Manchester United Football Club. You'll see the Roma game doesn't count.
No.
The Leeds game was so boring it doesn't count. It's actually been erased from history. Happened. Yeah, everyone has, even the players. So it's just a series of wins. Going into this, the title race is still alive, sort of ish, technically. Top 4's guaranteed. We've got loads of games coming up. Is this a game where it's just like, you know what? It don't really matter. Just get a team out and just don't lose because you don't want to lose.
Yeah, because if we...
Do you know what I mean? Do you know where I'm coming from?
If we lose the game, City win the league. And my minimum requirement for City to win the league is at least they win it during one of their matches.
I don't want the Scousers to win it. I don't want the Scousers playing us on Thursday to give City the league. Well, you just made me realise that, actually. So win this one and then don't lose to Scousers.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my plan.
Because at least if City win it during one of their own games, they win a game, we can just turn it off.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to watch City. Excuse me, I didn't want to watch City anyway. Whereas if it's United, I can't just turn it off and be like 3-1 down. It's like City have won the league, City have won the league, and they'll be saying it and you'll hear it and everyone will be tweeting about it. At least have City have the dignity and the respect for themselves to win it during one of their own matches. Don't do this bullshit thing that Leicester did where Chelsea won the league for them.
You're too young to remember because you weren't born. But
too young.
Yeah, it's your fault. Why weren't you there? Why were you not at Boundary Park when Oldham won United the league in 1993?
Right.
Don't give me that excuse you weren't there. You might be a United fan. But yeah, we won it because Oldham beat Villa. And it was like, it's not the same. It's weird. It is weird. That was my first ever experience. Well, United's first ever Premier League win was like that. If we are going to beat Leicester City, which we are, we're probably more than likely not going to do it with the record signing defender we bought from them.
No.
Because Harry Maguire's looking like finally he's not going to play Premier League game or not going to start.
Finally, he's
not
injured.
that I want him to, but
Thank God.
No, I know that sounded a bit like, oh, finally he's done it, but you know, he literally plays every game, and it's like, how is this possible? And now it's looking like it isn't because he's going to miss out, which means you'd expect the most box office player we've got, who's tailor made for out of context videos. Rick Bailey, yes, Eric Bailly. He's coming back in. You can see there from the stats on the screen. 9 appearances, 3 clean sheets, 11 goals conceded. I'm not gonna lie, not a great record, but before like the Eric Bailly fan club getting in, which I'm a member of, he did have a good run, didn't he, for a while where it was like, I think it was 5 games whatever he played on the spin. I know
it's 5 though,
I know, and we looked good, and then he got injured or whatever, and it tailed off.
I love Eric Bailly. Yeah. Everyone loves Eric Bailly. People will be looking at that run of games that he had, where him and Maguire conceded like 1 goal in 5 games, whatever, or something really good. It was 5 games. And like my main thing for him is don't get injured, because now is when we need you. Like I like Eric Bailly. I think on his day he's probably better than Lindelof. We've been through this a million times. Everyone knows it. Every Man United fan knows that he's probably more naturally gifted than Lindelof.
Yep.
Suits Maguire's style as a partner more than Lindelof, but he's not available. So now when he is available, now when Maguire isn't, and we need him, you have to stay fit and you have to be good. Because otherwise, what is the point in us giving him a new contract? What is the point? It's for times like this. You might need to play 5 games now. You might need to play the last 4 league games and the Europa League final if Maguire's not fit. And if he does, he has to be excellent for all of them, or at least as good as, his best. Yeah. Because, I'm not going to say be fucking Franco Baresi or whatever his name is. But Marco, what is it? People talk about him. I'm not going to say you have to be the best centre back of all time. People do talk about him.
I was compared to him at 5-a-side the other night.
Exactly. You have to be your best. And this is when we need Eric Bailly. And I like him and he's good. But again, 9 appearances this season in the league. That's just not enough, is it?
It's not, and you can argue that he doesn't get enough games or all this, that, and the other. He's been injured a lot, and you need a centre back pairing. You can't. It's not like wingers where you can go. Let's swap Lee Sharp for Ryan Giggs, or let's swap. I don't know, David Beckham for Karol Poborski or whatever. It's or Marcus Rashford for Anthony Martial or whatever. Yeah. I know you know what I mean. Inside forwards, whatever you want to call them. Defenders, usually centre-backs need to have a pairing that you stick with. It's not a rotation thing, so it's usually you form a partnership and you get used to it. Bailly and Maguire does work, but Bailly's never fit, so you can't rely on that. You can't.
No.
So that's why it's become Lindelof and Maguire. With all that being said, should we crack straight on to the predicted 11s? Because it's a weird one, this. Because normally if it's predicted 11s, we'd just be like, yeah, this team, me and you probably got the same-ish teams because everyone picks itself. But with the fact that you've got these games coming thick and fast, is it 3 games in 5 days?
Yes.
Yeah. So
it was 4 games in 7 days.
4 games in 7 days. Played one of. And this is the first one where it's not normal because do you know what I mean? Because
something's not right.
It's not like it's like as my psychiatrist often tells me. But the Villa game. Yeah. Was a normal fixture because it was a Sunday after the Thursday night game. Yeah. So there's nothing abnormal about that. That's how it would have been.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. It's just everything is the way it should be. But you don't then go and play on a Tuesday normally, do you?
No.
Which is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So this is the first one where he's got a real something to think about, especially with, you might go, okay, got a Tuesday and you got a break. No, you've got Tuesday and then 48 hours later, you've got a game against your biggest rivals. So they're happening thick and fast. He's got a little bit to think about. With everything being said, who's in your starting 11? Is this your preferred or predicted?
This is predicted. But
so this is you think who Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's going to pick.
It's almost an impossible prediction to make this, isn't it?
But you're going to give it a go anyway, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I've gone with Henderson in net.
We can get the predicted. There we go.
There we go. If we could cut to my camera, that'd be good.
Oh, there we go. Hey.
Henderson, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Bailly, Shaw. I think we're going to go full strength, pretty much at the back that's available.
Disgusting.
Matic and Fred. McTominay wasn't great the other day against Villa.
Matt Fred.
Matt
Fred. Or Fridge. Or Fredich. Fredich, though, that means Fred's getting on, mind you. He does get on McFred, doesn't he? He always gets his full name, doesn't he? Good point.
Yeah. Fredich in the middle.
McTominay, sorry, I interrupted you there with some
That
nonsense.
was also your starting lineup, by the way, but this one is mine now. It's still the same back four. Fred and Matic. And then I've gone pretty strong, really. Rashford, Bruno, Pogba, Cavani. And I know Cavani scored and got the headlines the other day, but he did start that game as a sub.
Yes.
So I think that's considered rest in terms of he had some rest. Do you know what I mean? He'll play 30 minutes, so I think he's ready to start.
I forgot that. Yeah. So mad. Yeah, I'm glad you actually remember these things.
He didn't start. So I've given Greenwood the night off. I've given McTominay the night off. Obviously, Maguire's got the night off as well there. But it's a very strong team, and it's pretty much a full-strength team. This would be with a view for maybe a couple of those players getting a rest against Liverpool. But again, I don't know who you rest against Liverpool because it's very difficult. So don't expect, or don't be surprised if it's a lot more rotated than that. I've kind of gone with what we've seen Ollie play in the past, which is slight rotation, 2 or 3 players here and there, rather than 10, 11 changes. He doesn't tend to do that. So that's what I've gone for there. Matic, Bailly coming in, Greenwood getting a rest, and Cavani coming back in.
It makes a lot of sense, and you do have to sort of get that balance because Ollie will want to push City as hard as he can. He'll have that in the back of his mind as well. The fact that again he won't want to sort of lose the league to Liverpool. So he will need to. Poor Mitz is on. Mitz is doing a bit of producing here in case you're wondering what's going on before people start spamming the chat with Satcam. So we get my starting 11 up there, and we'll see the differences there because I was just talking about how you've got to sort of go for it but not fully go for it. So a bit of rotation, but you can't just play the children because there is still something to play for. There we go. There's my starting 11. You can see. So I've gone for the back 5. Is that the same as yours? It is. Yep. Eric Bailly coming in for Harry Maguire.
Back 6 is the
back
same.
6.
Or 7.
I've gone from Fredich, as you call it. So yep, all the same there for reasons that are obvious. The front 4, I've gone slightly different. I've gone Paul Labille on the left-hand side. Some kid who apparently plays for United. I had to look this up. Donny van der Beek or something. Van der Beek.
Can I be honest, Jay?
Yeah.
When I picked my starting 11, The name Donny van der Beek didn't even cross my mind.
Did you know what?
I apologise for that.
Did you? If it had, would you have put him in?
No.
That's Ollie. I think that's Ollie in a managers meeting.
Think of him.
I think Mike Phelan goes, "What about Donny van der Beek?" And Ollie goes, "Just what?" Ollie says what you just said. Mike, can I be honest with you? The name Donny van der Beek didn't even enter my head. And then Mike goes, "Well, now I mention him, does it?" And he just goes, "No."
Mike Phelan goes, "What about Donny van der Beek?" And someone goes, "Can I be honest with him? I don't know who that is."
No, remind me. Go on.
The blonde one that isn't Scott McTominay.
The one that Edwin van der Sar rang me about. Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him? We bought him. Oh right, okay, yeah.
Where's he at now?
Yeah,
he plays.
He's over there training.
Shit.
Oh yeah. All right, okay. I've gone with him because you might look at that and go, Jay, that's completely bonkers. Why is no Marcus Rashford? Why is there no Bruno? What are you doing? But the games are coming thick and fast. We've got the Scousers on the Thursday, so I've gone with Paul Pogba, Donny van der Beek, and Amad Diallo as the sort of behind Mason Greenwood because I expect for the Scousers Bruno, Rashford, and Cavani to start, and that is all that is. I think that, and you might maybe even Juan Mata might even get a game against the Scousers. I think he's going to change it drastically, and I always think, and getting a vote in the comments and let me know if I'm wrong about this, but I always think with strikers and attackers sometimes they need rotating more than defenders a little bit.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that like defenders can manage the sort of the 2 games in 4 days or whatever, whereas attackers just nature of the beast that you have to just rotate them a little bit more. It's just one of them, and like you don't often sub your defenders, do you? You sub your attackers. I know it's for different reasons, but I just feel like you can just rely on defenders to play more games consistently in a sort of period of time, whereas attackers might need to be rotated.
Yeah, you don't just sub your centre backs off because you're winning.
Yeah,
people take your attackers off even when it's not just like we need to get a goal, so let's put a striker on.
Yeah, it's
sometimes like, well, we're 2-1 up, let's just or 3-1 up, but you don't just take all your defenders off and you goalie. No. So, yeah, I think that's definitely fair to say.
We are playing Leicester, of course, who...
Those bastards.
They've fallen off a cliff, haven't they? We've got Leicester's last 5 games, if we can get them up, because I think that Leicester, I mean, I say they've fallen off a cliff, and then you can just see a load of wins. But that draw against Southampton are what, 17th or 16th or something. They're in free fall. Yeah. And that loss at home to Newcastle,
which they were 4-0 down, by the way.
That has flattered to deceive a little bit. Yeah. They rescued themselves from a complete obliteration there in the last 10 minutes. Is as bad as it gets. Yeah. There's a real danger here that Leicester are going to do what they did last season and go from dead certs to be in the top 4 to just about getting in the Europa or, having to scrape around there. And I know that might sound a bit melodramatic because they're still in a pretty comfortable position, but that must be on the back of their mind because of Rodgers' form for, I don't want to use the term, but I'm going to use it anyway, bottling it.
Yeah, he has got a bit of that. He did it for Liverpool. He did it at Leicester last season where they were third all season. It was Liverpool, then City, then Leicester, then Chelsea, generally speaking, wasn't it? And then United snuck up and came through in the last minute. But that's why, even though it's only 2 results, people are already talking about, are they bottling it again? Yeah. Because 4-0 at home down to Newcastle. I know they got 2 in the end, but you never want to be 4-0 down to Newcastle. That's atrocious. Newcastle don't score 4 in 5 games, let alone in 1.
If you were anywhere else in the league, like if you were in mid-table, you're getting sacked.
Yeah,
that's like this isn't working. But because Rodgers is obviously in the top 4 and he's done a good job, it's like he's never going to be in danger just for that. But that is awful. And also, I think the draw Southampton's pretty poor because Southampton's just been awful recently.
They've been really bad.
Yeah, just don't know what's going on there. So you could argue it's a decent time to play them. One player who has been doing well for Leicester City Football Club is Kelechi Iheanacho. You can see there, 22 appearances, 11 goals, 2 assists. Now, I now and again used to like to dig out the old tweets of Iheanacho's better than Rashford from the City fans because they all started tweeting that when they both burst onto the scene, and it was made to look ridiculous when Marcus Rashford went on to have the career he has, and Iheanacho was warming Leicester's bench. But this season, I think he's got more Premier League goals than Marcus. He's finally sort of started to show what he's made of. In a good bit of form. Even in that 4-2, I think he got a goal.
Scored against United in the FA Cup.
Scored against United in the FA Cup. Did the worst interview with me ever. because his English isn't great, but my whatever his language is, I don't speak it, so I can't blame him. No. So it was just a hard work.
It was a bad interview, but it wasn't anyone's fault.
No, it was. If anything, it was my fault for, do you know what I mean, asking him questions.
Yeah.
So fair enough. I don't know. It's City's fault for putting him up for a mix zone. They could have chose anyone. They chose someone who doesn't speak English. He was 19 or something at the time. Yeah. Typical City. Just they never learn. Are you worried about him? Considering Harry Maguire's not playing as well.
I am a bit because he's scored against us this season. He's been a lot better than he had been. A goal every other game. That's generally the sort of criteria for a good striker. Maths. He's just very much hitting the lower end of that. Because also he's only played 22 games in the league, so it's not like I don't know whether that's injury or whether he's not been selected every week. But if he'd have got a goal every other game and he'd have played 35 games, you're looking at 17 goals, which would be nice, or 18. But 11 goals, it's decent. I'm not going to sit here trembling in bed the night before.
Because the thing is as well, you throw in there 2 assists. Because like I said, he's got he's got one more goal I think in the league than Marcus. Marcus has got a lot of assists. And if he's not scoring, he's not really doing much.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And he has had this purple patch. I don't know.
Rashford isn't a number 9.
Yeah, exactly.
Iheanacho is.
Exactly. And also, I think from what I gather, Iheanacho's just in this purple patch for like the last 3 months.
Yeah.
It's not like he's been playing week in, week out, and every other week he's scoring. No. It's like the last 3 months he's just been on fire. So, yeah, I'm with you. Keep an eye on him. We know what he's capable of, but we're not up against the greatest number 9 in the Premier League. So I'd expect Manchester United to be able to handle him. If we've got the head-to-heads from Leicester and United, you can see there. The 3-1 loss you mentioned there in the FA Cup. The 2-2 draw, which was in the league. Which
Boxing Day, wasn't it?
Boxing Day, very disappointing. Before that, 3 wins for United.
In the league, I think it's 12 games unbeaten against him, and that was the famous Vanguard one where we lost 5-3.
That altered the course of history, by the way.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Yeah.
That made Leicester City, a few of their players think, you know what, we're not that bad. And it made Van Gaal think, I'm not going to attack anymore. Yeah. It doesn't work.
That was the beginning of the end for Louis Van Gaal, that game. But they haven't beat us in the league since then. Obviously, overall, look at that. They beat us the last time we played them. So we've got to be on our toes, and it's going to be a difficult match. It's not, it's just Leicester, you can fuck them off. It's going to be really difficult, and we've got to kind of push that so that... I mean, the problem is, I was going to say push them so that they do sort of enter this kind of free fall like they did last season, but I don't want them to. I want them to hold Chelsea, or maybe not Chelsea, because they're going to take West Ham's spot. But I want them to hold City, I can't even
Liverpool, the Scousers,
and Tottenham out of the top 4. Get them out.
Get them out. Yeah. I agree with you.
We beat them and then they win the rest of their games. That's my
perfect
scenario.
Perfect, even. With all that in mind, what is the score going to be at 6 o'clock? Is it 6 o'clock Tuesday night? Yeah.
Fucking weird. I think it's going to be 1-0 United. I think it's going to be shit, but I think we'll just scrape through and get a win. I think we're going to see some changes, maybe more than I put, maybe around what you said in terms of 5 or 6 people rather than 2 or 3 like I went for. I think it's going to be a bit of a stodgy kind of nothing game where United just have enough quality to push us through the other side. I think Rashford will get the winner.
Oh, I'd settle for that. I'd say I would love that. 1-0 Marcus Rashford. Yeah, I quite like that, actually, but I'll go with something different just to be different. I'll go with 2-1 United, and I'll go with... I've got to remember a pick now, because I can't be picking players that didn't imagine they might come Bruno. On. They can't. Yeah, I'll go with Paul Labille to get a goal and Mason to get another one.
Nice.
There you go. You see, and Kelechi to get one for them if anyone cares. Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you think the score is going to be. Let us know what you think. Don't forget as well to send in your predictions in future, score predictions to paddockmatchday@gmail.com. We want to hear from you guys. This is your channel. We'll be here with a watch along for the game. It'll be myself, Joe, Maka, and then also we're doing a bit of a swapsies because I think Stephen House is going to be here for the second half, so I'll be swapping with him. So make sure you check that out as well. If you're not doing, go and check him out on his socials, Joe Smith 93. Make sure you're hitting like, share, and subscribe. That's been Joe Smith. I've been Jay Motti. This has been the Leicester City preview. Thanks for watching.